Today I can confirm that at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September, Australia will recognise the state of Palestine.
Breaking now, Australia has just announced it will recognise a Palestinian state at the United Nations next month, a move that could redraw diplomatic lines and deepen tensions in an already explosive region. Today's decision from Canberra is being framed by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese as a push for a two-state solution, humanity's best hope to end the cycle of violence in Gaza, and will be formalised at the UN General Assembly in September. Albanese said Australia's recognition is conditional. The Palestinian Authority has provided commitments that Hamas will not play a role in any future governing structure, that future Palestinian institutions will be demilitarized, and that democratic elections and governance reforms will follow. Canberra says those guarantees allow it to move now and also to more directly support reconstruction and humanitarian efforts. But this is not a universally applauded step. Israel's government reacted angrily, with senior officials calling the move misguided and warning it risks rewarding terror at a moment of active conflict. Domestically, the decision has split opinion across Australia's political spectrum, and regional partners including New Zealand are said to be re-examining their own positions. Why now? Leaders in Canberra argue that the scale of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, coupled with growing international momentum, with Britain, France, and Canada signaling similar recognition around the UN session, makes this a defining moment to try to reset the diplomatic landscape and press for a ceasefire and hostage releases. Critics say the move is premature and risks inflaming an already fragile situation. What could this mean in practice? Recognition at the UN would allow Australia to pursue bilateral agreements with a recognized Palestinian state, expand direct aid and public diplomacy channels, and participate in international reconstruction efforts with a different legal footing. But it also could complicate Canberra's relations with key allies and with Israel, and it raises questions about how commitments, like excluding Hamas from governance, will be verified on the ground. For Americans watching, the move matters because it signals growing international impatience with the status quo and a willingness among middle powers to use recognition as a lever in diplomacy. It also puts pressure on other NATO and Western partners to clarify their positions, and could reshape diplomatic backchannels tied to ceasefire negotiations and humanitarian corridors. What to watch next? The formal recognition at the UN General Assembly in September, any concrete implementation steps Canberra takes, such as aid or bilateral agreements, and whether London, Paris, Ottawa, and others finalize similar measures, or whether pushback from Israel and some Western capitals causes some to pause. The coming weeks will show whether this is the start of a wider diplomatic shift, or a flashpoint that hardens divisions. This is a fast-moving story with real geopolitical consequences. Stay tuned as nations, leaders, and the UN itself react in the crucial weeks ahead.